welcome to What the Frick Live. It is Wednesday, November the 9th. I can't believe November's here. Where did October go? I have no clue where it went. So I just want to thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I am your host, Emily Menshouse. If you could please share this out. We are live on the Spirit Realm Network, so follow us over here. You can follow us on our website. We have on-demand episodes and things and other stuff happening in the next couple months. Coming up, exciting news. I have a really awesome, amazing guest this evening. But before I bring him on, I also want to remind everybody we are now podcast too. And we are on all the podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple. We are on iHeartRadio, things like that. So if you missed this show, this will be uploaded and be in podcast format within 24 to 48 hours from the show this evening. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you have any questions or anything while you're watching, please ask in the chat. I always try to go over there and include you all watching too. We appreciate it. We have Tom Althouse on this evening. He is the original writer, author of The Matrix, and it has been mind-blowing. The corruption and the scandal. Even Pat Robertson from 700 Club's been involved. Elon Musk, which is probably what we'll start out with tonight because we touched base on it on part 2. If you have not watched part 1 or part 2, it's on our Rumble account. I have that link in the description. You can go over there and look for that. I have never had a part 3 show. So this is the first time having a part 3 show, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. We're going to get into Elon Musk. We're going to get in some stuff that's happened over the last weekend. Also, this is going to be a documentary one day, and they're working on that now. So without any further ado, I am going to welcome Tom Althouse to the 3rd time on What the Frick Live. Hey, Tom.
Thanks for having me back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you. I believe your story and everything that's happened, and you're probably one of the strongest people I've ever met in my life.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I intend to stay so. So we're going to finish the job.
So real quick, if you want to just do like a real quick update, like or probably just a review of what we've discussed, just really quickly for people that might not know who you really are and what you do, if you don't mind just to introduce yourself a little bit.
No, not a problem. My
Okay.
name is Tom Althouse, former father of 3 sons, now just 1 son left. And the Cabal has done a real job on myself, author of The Matrix story, which is The Immortals, which they actually put a copyright on my title, The Immortals, not The Matrix. And so it was something that they stuck all the first graphics, have all my information, my high school, you name it, it's all in there. They have Tom Park Althouse across the screen, my full name. The Wachowskis put that in Animatrix. You've got my full birthday on the clock in Animatrix, 7/2/59 exactly, with the age in red, 4 past the 444 in 2003. So it's overwhelming evidence, and they're hoping that audiences stick to the idea that, oh, he lost his case, which was done through supplied attorneys from inside, from classmates of their attorneys, who had suspended license and things like this to absolutely throw the case and run it out into the ground and then claim that there was nothing to see here when people go to Google. There's been amazing discoveries lately, and I mean, blow away. This is, like I was saying, this is the most dangerous week for me and my son and my mom, but it's also the most exciting week where just everything's coming together. We just had a number of calls with the documentary team. It's all going forward, and that's going to make it palatable for people to actually be able to understand the evidence we have that is just blow away, including we hold the full copyright of everything from Squiddies to Jackson Neck, even the tech, which ties to Elon Musk.
So when this documentary comes out, how do you think it's going to be received? Are you going to need like protection? What's going to happen?
No, I think you're going to see a turning of the tables. The people that were responsible for destroying, including those that were bought off, that are connected to like the congressman who's also an FBI operative who destabilized Ukraine, Brian Fitzpatrick.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see a lot of them turning on each other. So it's going to be a lot of finger point and axes coming down on those that were responsible for wrapping all these loose ends up. Instead, it's unraveled in their face, and the documentary will be the bomb that just explodes it forward.
Well, since you mentioned Elon Musk, because he's a little bit in everything now, and I think we vaguely touched on him in part 2. So I'd like to start off with some of this description and why he might be connected, or he is connected with the Matrix. I'm going to share our documents here that you sent us.
Sure.
This is before, but it's a couple. Here it is, Elon Musk. So Tell everybody what we're looking at right here, if you don't mind.
Elon Musk, he's the one that's claiming Neuralink. He was groomed by the Hollywood machine and the FBI. What you see is the boyish face, which I had when I was being groomed to be the face of the Christian Coalition. Their idea is that they take somebody with a certain boyish look, and that they perceive that audiences and the public will just get behind him because he just seems so sweet. And that's the whole game they play. It's a whole PR game they play. So this man is not a friendly guy. He's not that smart. They're doing a documentary now also to counter ours on Elon Musk. And in it, they'll say they have this teacher lady saying how he was just this dreamy kid who was just an absolute genius because he read comic books when he was in school. Well, I'm sorry. Sci-fi comic books.
I have my own conspiracy behind Elon Musk.
Yeah, he was. Well, they actually put him in Iron Man 2, and he doesn't serve the story. He's just there to promote him. That's what you can tell. Hollywood's promoting him. And so Tony Stark comes up, and goes by at the races, and he says he wants this table. And then they find out the table's next to Elon Musk. Elon Musk has no lines. He stands up, and Tony Stark's line is basically this: "Hey, there's Elon Musk," pointing.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, and Elon Musk is just like this.
Yeah, I remember that.
There's nothing in the story. It is simply a gratuitous thing to promote their guy who stole the tech. See, it can't be denied, Emily. It's the tech is in all through this piece, as it's showing here on this page.
Well, he steals everything. He stole Tesla. He stole PayPal. He stole it all. That's all he's doing. He's like not that smart.
Next bad step after Edison. So what you have is, and he's not smart at all. He cannot. No, you're good. He couldn't explain the Neuralink. He couldn't explain it, and it was so painful as the inventor of it, who came up with the concepts. It can't be denied. It's in the copyrighted screenplay right here, all through it. Yet the ramifications are also described in the screenplay. It propels the story along, where you find out the Neuralink is not such a good thing. Perfect for the Cabal.
Yeah. So, real quick, what are your takes with this whole Twitter thing that he's doing? Is this just a distraction, or what is this? Do you know?
Twitter was the only platform that actually had me viable, and I was actually able to get everything out there. Now that's going to be shut down on me. So they're trying to play chess game. They call it the chess game, and so they're trying to shut down. Well,
you get shut down all the time. I get shadow banned with advertising for you and everything. And now I've looked on YouTube. There's several interviews on there that you've gotten, a lot of views on. But
they're starting to switch around. It's starting to switch around. It's starting to switch around where there's internal conflict now, which we predicted. There will be internal conflict with those that are now going to be pro our side because we're the winning side, and those that aren't. One of the key members of that playing field is the banks. The banks do run the show, and this is what contacts from Illuminati, others have told me. They said when they were making offers, they said the banks run the show. The banks will side with the winners. And as we are now showing our evidence and getting by all the tactics that were thrown, that means the walls collapsing on the Cabal. We are being considered the winnings. So what you see is like this one tape we'll have with the documentary team where the Disney contact says, you've won the chess game. They always call it a chess game. You've won the chess game. You have the power now because the word's coming out. If you broke through, even though everything was trying to stop you, you're still coming through. You just won't quit. Your endurance and your determination, your will has won the game. So that means the banks will back the winner. They don't care about the politics or the ideologies. They care about banking and betting on the winning horse.
Well, it's not one person that owns Twitter. Elon Musk bought it. It's shareholders that owns these companies. And it's the same shareholders that own Twitter are the same shareholders that own Tesla. I followed that. Yeah. I followed that money trail. So it's technically the same toxic people, BlackRock and all of them behind the scenes with this. And just Elon is their puppet that they're putting out there because he seems to be a good guy, but there's a mask there.
It's all a face. It's all a face. Yeah. Just like I was being groomed. I was supposed to be the face of the Christian Coalition. He's supposed to be the face that claims my work. He's supposed to replace me. Even the idea of Tony Stark, and what the interesting thing about the Tony Stark thing they're doing in Iron Man, Tony Stark is talking about his tech being taken, being a genius, and the tech is taken that helps save the world, make a difference. That's my tech he's taking. So if we're going to play that scenario out in Marvel Comics, which is involved in this whole thing, I'm Tony Stark. He's taking my work and he's taking my place. So yeah, this is what's going on. You're looking at the guy, the bald guy.
And up here it says Elon Musk, Neuralink, iPad, Surrey, Jax to the back of the neck.
This is all from the screenplay, all from the Immortals.
See, but he's wanting, Elon Musk is wanting to put that device in our brains. You know,
that's right. They know what it will do because they have the screenplay describing it completely what it can do, and it's very bad. In the screenplay, our Neo character has a diseased enhancer or Neuralink, where it's been booby trapped, and so it's to go off at a certain time, and therefore all his memories are going to be lost. He's become dependent on the neural link for the memory retaining, and also recognition to anything. So he's told to choose 3 memories because they're going to have to pull this thing, get rid of it, and he's going to have to implant Smith's memories, Smith's Neuralink or enhancer. That's a cool story. So he's now going to live the thoughts and feelings of Smith, who had harmed his family. This is stripped away from the Wachowskis from their work because they didn't know how to handle that. So they want to simplify everything. So they just want to lift at everything that's cool. So they stick the Jax in. They stick the Trinity helping Neo as he goes to find the dome. In ours, Neo's going to find the dome. And he has Trinity helping him. Why? Because you see in ours what Neo is suffering from. He's not just driving like, you're seeing what he's suffering from, which is the death of his family, flames of his family, and the suffering of his family, all while Smith's feelings of elated and enjoying it is he's feeling Smith's feelings. But that's why the Wachowskis did Sense8 after they threw the case.
And explain to people that's just watching this right now, since we're on a new network, who are the Wachowskis?
The Wachowskis are supposedly supposed to be women now. They're actually still dudes dressing up.
Oh, they're dudes. They're dressing up as women.
Yeah. And so the Wachowskis are the ones that were given the work. They were wined and dined by Dean Laurentiis. Now you can see Dean Laurentiis up here is that bottom jaundiced looking guy. Dean Laurentiis,
yeah, here he is.
Yeah, next to my picture when I submit it.
Yeah.
So you've got Dean Laurentiis is the one that wined and dined the Wachowskis, promised them beautiful women, fame, and fortune. And they hadn't done anything except dropped out of school, failed their painting contracting business. Their mom said all they did was play video games. So sci-fi groupies brought in to be claimants for the work of the author to the right of Dean Laurentiis. Keep it in-house.
This is crazy. Yeah.
And they had no idea what the work means. Even on their fan page, the Wachowskis will say the little girl at the train station is just a subplot. They say that fans help them figure things out, like why there's not 6 generations. There's supposed to be 1. I have 1 generation of Zion. They had 6. And then they go back and say, well, you're right, fans. It should be 1. No, the original author had it right.
See, and we talked about the girl in the subway the last part 2. So if people want to know what we're talking about, go over to our Rumble account. It's here. Or our podcast. It's up on the podcast, any iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, all of those places, and find it. Part 1, Part 2 is both there. So if you want to know more about the subway, go there. But so what's interesting with this, though, there's been new discovery in just this past weekend. And the new discovery deals with an operation by our CIA, the U.S. government, and the FBI. They've all colluded, and it's called Operation Northwoods. These documents have been released, so everybody could go watch. This is true. And they were planning and plotting to do things against the own citizens of the United States, to blame Cuba and to incite war with Cuba. I'm going to play a little video of this right now, and they can still hear us while we talk.
Sure.
I pulled to explain this a little bit. And then we're going to talk
government documents. This is 20%. Each video I go up will get worse and worse, so make sure to like and follow to keep up. This is Operation Northwoods. The operation was a list of proposals called for by the CIA to actually commit terrorism against the American military, civilian targets, and then blaming them on the Cuban government. The plan was formed during 1962, which we all know was the Cuban Missile Crisis. Some of the acts they were going to commit were shooting planes down, sinking boats of Cuban refugees, blowing up US ships, and the worst one is probably the mass murders in US cities. Ultimately, the plan was going to happen, and a lot of people in government were behind this, but the only reason it didn't happen is because JFK, the president at the time, said that, no, we're not gonna do it. This just goes to show you how far the government is willing to go to prove a point. I mean, murdering innocent people and then blaming it on Cuba is honestly a new low, so the real question is, what has happened that we don't know of yet? Make sure to like and follow for tomorrow's video.
There you go. Like and follow him, Austin. But, you know, in what happened to JFK after he said no, and he said he would splinter the CIA 50 million direction as the wind blows or something. What, 2 weeks later, he was assassinated?
That's right.
Or something like that, or a month later?
Which I've been saying the same thing. I want to be known as the man that dismantled the FBI and the CIA and brought them down. So I'm in the same boat as Kennedy.
So real quick then, so you've discovered, I saw your post, I'm banned on Facebook, that you discovered that the Matrix and all this stuff that you're dealing with is tied to operations. Can you talk to us about that? Tell us more information.
Right. You just got interrupted too. They just interrupted your signal just now when you said that. So your voice was garbled. You said Northwoods, it was garbled. So they are very attuned to everything we say. And that's not conspiracy. That's the fact.
Well, I think Facebook is CIA anyway.
It is, yeah.
Zuckerberg is CIA.
They control everything that's allowed to have a real voice. And so they tap it, including Disney. And so you were just interrupted in what you were saying because they don't want this addressed, because what we discovered now is the hot ticket. Now we've got their thumbprint in the movie Matrix, where they put it in with all the other graphics. And let's line it up and take a look what's going on. We've got high school, Central West High. My high school, put by the Wachowskis. They stack the entries in a graphic that's in for a split second, upside down, first graphic shot, first scene shot. So keep in mind, this is the most important graphic to the Wachowskis. First scene shot, first graphic made, first graphic showed, upside down, split second for their eyes only to mock the author. And let's take a look what we have. So as we go by, here you go.
Hold on. Okay, which one?
So the other one has it boxed and explains it. That's the graphic. Okay. If you go back to the boxes, we can take a look right there.
This one.
Yep, that's the same graphic as it appeared in its orientation in the film. So you see how it's upside down?
Mm-hmm.
The page is actually turning at the bottom. Now, if you look at these boxed areas, we never understood. Look at March 11, 1962, upside down.
Yes.
That is supposed to be the birth date of Neo. Now, watch what happens here. Take your time with this one. Take your time for the audience. March 11th, 1962 is upside down. It's not boxed. We never understood it. Everything else applies. Everything. July 22nd is my birthday. When they erased my records, they got it right in Animatrix. On the clock in Animatrix, July 2nd, 1959.
Mm-hmm.
They changed it to July 22nd is what my records show in 1999 as all my social security number disappeared. When they took my work, they were erasing me. Literally saying they were erasing me. So all it showed in my records was July 22nd. So the Wachowskis are going to mock that by putting July 22nd in this graphic. See that? Now that's 1999. When I survived the hits, in 2003, they corrected back to July 2nd, 1959. 59, 17.
And that's in the anime. Everybody,
Animatrix.
the anime Matrix too. It has all
2003.
These
So when the records are corrected, and I'm allowed to have a life sort of in records again, you have them bragging, there's his real birthday. And the age is 44 in red, 4 past the 4 in red. So you have a complete age with 4 hands, complete birthday, month, year, and day on the clock, filling the screen in a static shot. And that follows with Tom Park Althouse across the screen later on in the same stuff. So what you have here is before, when I'm being erased, July 22nd was listed as my birthday when they put this in. Okay. Then you've got Central West High. Tweak to Central West Junior High. That's not much of a tweak. I went to Central West. Now they have Owen Patterson as the high school. That's the production manager. Help make the graphic. Michelle McGahee is the art director, listed as Neo's mom. Do you see the joke? So everything in here is a joke. John Anderson, John A. John A is my dad's name.
Right.
Thomas A is my name. Anderson is our Scottish clan name. And the column says TA 4099. TA was 4099. 380 is numerology, which they claim they're in the numerology. Numerology for giving up your most cherished worldly possessions to help you prepare for your death.
They all are in numerology.
They claim to be.
The deep cabal. They add things up, though.
Yeah, really? They do. I mean, the Wachowskis.
I mean, they're good.
Wachowskis are actually lazy, but they don't really look stuff up. They just
well, that's what they do. They get the laziest, dumbest people to put out on the front end, and then all these people are behind. That's why it's like the Illuminati. We know who the families are, we know who runs them, but they are never the forefront of anything.
That's right. Now, with due process in the courts, there is a no-brainer here. It's over. You put the birthday, the high school, the father's name, the author's name, the clan name, the column, age, initials, year. You got it all here. And then you put your own guys in. But we never understood 11 March 1962. We never understood.
So tell us about March 11th, 1962.
Well, the next page says 9/11, right? And this ties to it. This date ties to 9/11. So 9/11 it will show like it shows Neo's passport, right? And it shows his face with 9/11. Okay, so what you have
is it?
I don't think it's here.
Am I pulling it up right now? Oh, okay. I thought it was on this one. I thought
don't worry.
To the next page.
Don't worry. I know it sounded like I said next page, but in the graphic itself, the next page of the graphic in the movie is 9/11.
Not physically. Not physically.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. They froze you too at that point too. They're very upset about this. They will not want us to continue this through. So watch me explain this and watch for interruptions. I'm just going to bait it that way. So here we have all those entries we just said. And we never understood the March 11, 1962. I'm taking my time with it. 9/11 was the next page. So why? Because the Immortal screenplay talks about a false flag that the main character, the baddie, wants to take credit for with the public, saying, I know when this is going to happen. And he's told by the architect not to say anything. So the Wachowskis are not supposed to say anything about 9/11, but they do exactly what the character does in the script. Put it in anyway. And what the CIA does is this entry. They can't resist. They want to get part of the game. Everybody wants to be clever. 11 March 1962 was a Sunday, when the group of players got together and drafted the letter for the
cutting
president.
in and out.
I told you.
You're right now.
I told you. They don't want this said. So pay close attention.
My Wi-Fi just went down to like 1 bar on my Wi-Fi, and I've had full Wi-Fi.
The CIA does not want us talking about this. So everybody pay attention. Pay attention. We're going to get it out. I told you we'll be interrupted. Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I mean, I can end it on Facebook, but we can still go live. I hear you. We can go live still on the website.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Their interrupting only amplifies what is going on and how scared they are about this. The CIA is going down.
I'm going to end this on Facebook. Stay, everybody. There's actually a comment too. This is our network. We're trying to get away from Facebook. So ditch Facebook and watch live and ask questions on the SRN website. Just click here to join the party over there. So go over there. I'll sign in to chat here in a second. I'm going to end this on Facebook because this is super important. So thank you all for tuning in. We love you. Yeah. So meet us over on the website.
It's what we predicted.
Yeah. So I'm removing. I'm not going to delete it off Facebook. I just removed it. So we're still live on the website and Rumble. Good. Okay, go ahead. Let's see what happens now if this is a lot better.
Yes. You see how we predicted they would interrupt it? This is the CIA at work right now, monitoring everything they're afraid of, and the FBI also. So let's recap.
You sound a lot better over here on this end.
Good. Let's bring it home. Let's bring it home. This is too important. This is why this is the most dangerous week for me, Aiden, and my mom. Because this information just came through. Thanks to that great director, the great director, Oliver Stone. So here we go.
Awesome.
July 22nd, we understand about that. Central West High, we understand about that. John A., we understand about that. Thomas A., we understand about that. Anderson, Scottish clan name, got it. TA 4099, got it. Next page, 9/11, got it. Why? Because the Immortals talks about a false flag that's going to be done. Right, we'll talk about Universal Studios naming exactly what that is afterwards through Christopher Nolan, who ripped off the work all the time. So what we have then is this bomb drop here, which the CIA does not want us to talk about. 11 March 1962. They put their thumbprint right on this. We never understood that entry. Notice it's not boxed on this graphic. We didn't understand it. Now we do, thanks to Oliver Stone. Why is 11 March 1962 on here when the Wachowskis put 9/11, not supposed to. CIA put this. This is better than 9/11 on here. So what you have now, should be interrupting very soon here if they have control of this platform. Okay, so what is March 11, 1962? Why is it here? Because the Immortals talks about a false flag. March 11, 1962 was a Sunday. That's when the conspirators of the CIA got together and decided to write the document that would be delivered during the week. So they write it on Sunday, March 11th, 1962. They deliver it to the desk of the president on March 15th, 1962. It's like the Declaration of Independence was ratified on July 2nd, 1776, and it was signed July 4th, 1776. See the difference? You have that prep time. So this is what's going on. So the CIA has just shown us that Sunday, March 11, 1962, was more important to them than laying on the desk on March 15th, 1962. And what was laid on the desk? Operation Northwoods. Terrorist activity.
They formed it on March 11th, but laid it on the desk.
They formed it on the weekend when they get everybody together.
Secretly. Well, that's what they always do. Weekends or 2 a.m. in the
Jekyll Island.
3 a.m. in the morning.
Jekyll Island. It's like Jekyll Island. So they could get everybody together with beer and brandy and cigars, and they sign this up and they deliver at the end of the week on the 15th on the desk of the president. So they wanted to make sure they get all their ducks in order. They need the days to get their ducks in order. So the CIA has just told us what the red letter day is in the Operation Northwood crafting, and that is to do terrorist activities on U.S. citizens. And so they're
still doing it. They're still doing it with these mass shootings and stuff. If you look up each mass shooter, real quick, I'll just say this, inject this. If you look up each one, they all have the same characteristics. They use the same people. These even kids are programmed, and they usually get a mental health child or something, or someone that's been in a school, orphan, or a refugee, or they get illegal immigrants that cross the border. Border open. So this is true. It's all out there. People got to research and read and stop watching mainstream news and start thinking for yourself. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Tom.
No, don't be sorry. So if you box March 11, 1962 with a big red box, how many boxes you got on the screen? They filled this whole document. The first graphic shot of Matrix is very revealing. They never thought the author would live through what they planned. And how do we know that? Because look at the entry from the Animatrix. We've got, as we said, 7/2/59, the exact birthday corrected, 7/2/59, 4 past the 4 in red. Now, the reason you got the red there, and my phone, AT&T phone, which is charged, just went black.
Hold on.
AT&T is owned by
I have that.
But you notice this? The phone just cut out.
And my phone's still good on my end.
But look at this. Look at this. Gone. So we'll go to the graphic you have. They're playing monkey with us right now.
I thought I have.
This is a good example to the public to see what's going on. I've got a fully charged phone that just cut out when I was showing the graphic.
Here it is. There we go. That's the graphic.
You did it. See, this is what you do. You go around them, you keep persisting, and you win the chess game, they call it. So look at the numbers. 7/2/59. Give me 1 second. 1 second.
By the way, you all, I think he's filming this week, so we got to ask him that question in a second when he comes back. I might have his birth certificate or something, or his license. I don't know.
Okay, I was going to get my license anyway. My license again is.
I have your license. I think.
Good. Show the license too if you can split screen. I don't know if you can, but notice the numbers: 7/2/59, one before the 60. 7 July 2nd, 59.
7/2/59.
59. It's on the license. Then you have 4 past the 4 with red. I think you have the graphic back there. It is the graphic with the all the inserts boxed. So I think it's that one. That one right there. No, it's not that one. It's another one. No. Okay, don't worry about it. But anyway, that's the license is 7/2/59.
I have your license. I know I do.
Okay.
I think I do.
But I think, this can't be refuted with due process. Now, it's all fraud that they did, even though they ruled it, with prejudice, whatever. No, that means there's not a single similarity, not a possibility, triable issue. No, there's tons of stuff here. There's tons, including the copyright and them sticking everything in. So 7/2/59, the exact birthday on the license. That's not an accident in an industry where they do 10 after 10 smiling hands for the clock faces. So that is a real baddie by the Wachowskis. And that's part of the reason Andy had to be a woman. There's always a payback and a punishment if you do something like this. And they just were clowns and went full out mock. Now, the 4 past the 4 in red, I was 44 in 2003.
Here,
remember that column? Remember the column in the Matrix where it says TA 4099? I was 40 and 99. And then it says...
You cut out.
They don't want this. They don't want this said. They don't want this said. The CIA, give it up. You lost.
Okay, let me.
That's going to tell the CIA.
They're going to.
The CIA has lost. All they can do now is interrupt feeds. That's all they can do. You lost, guys. You lost.
I got your license.
Perfect. All right, there.
There you go.
So look at the date. Date of birth. What's the date of birth? 7/2/59, right?
7/2/59.
So what do they do? And what do they do in the Animatrix? 7/2/59 on the clock. Let's hold it up. I'll hold it up. No, it killed my phone. I can't do it. So anyway, 7/2. The CIA is going all out right now with Warner Bros. 7/2/59 on the clock face, right? And then 4 past the 4, 44 in 2003. And that's what I'm saying. They put 44 in 2003 on the clock. And then they put the age 40 on the Matrix. TA 4099. So TA was 40 in 1999. TA was 44 in 2003 when this graphic was done with my birthday. Do you see that?
See, 7/2/59, everybody. And then back over here, 7/2/59.
With 44. 4 past the 4, 44 in the red. So they're saying my age in 2003. They're saying my age in the graphic in 1999. TA 4099. Do you see how sick this is?
Wow, they're just mocking you. This is gross.
Yes, that's what the guy who told us where to look. I would never known these were here. And so the guy from the inside of the story department told me where to look and why they were there. And you just nailed it. They're mocking the author when they don't understand the work. I look like an idiot there, but they mock the author. They mock the author because they don't understand the work. And so what's interesting is now the CIA is caught. That's why all these interruptions. That's why it's the most dangerous week. And boy, they're illustrating that, aren't they? So you're seeing that this discovery means the Wachowskis put 9/11 before 9/11 happened. That's in the movie. The character does that. He wants to be credited with knowing when the false flag is going to happen. I'm warning in the piece about a false flag. So what the CIA does is we're going to put March 11th, 1962. It worked for a while. We never understood it until, God bless him, Oliver Stone.
I have Eddie in chat's watching on the Spirit Realm Network website. He says, "Wow, will not let me type a question. Is this the CIA? He couldn't type." He goes, "Try again. Try it again." He goes, "How can we prove CIA or other is doing this stuff?" Then he said, "They are doing a good job on my end. A lot of interruption computer doing strange stuff."
Yes. They know.
Eddie, has this happened to you before? This has happened with us. This is our third show. This happened every show that I've had with you. And there's a couple other people, but I do 2 shows a week. I know what the dangerous shows are going to be and you're one of them. So I know you're telling the truth.
Well, the thing is the CIA revealed themselves. You can tell they're upset. They're upset and paying close attention because that entry is Operation Northwoods. We know that now. And since we know it, that's a big big oops for them. And so they're all over it right now. They're all over this right now. They do not want this out because how are they going to excuse it? How are they going to make an excuse for this? It's going to stick when the Wachowskis did all that in there. The Wachowskis
Eddie said no, it hasn't happened to him before. So
of course.
This is what you get with Tom Althouse, y'all.
That's what you get. You're not supposed to. It's the blue pill. The blue pill is the good pill. This is what happens when you take the blue pill from the original work.
And we talked about that, I think, on part 1 of this, that you're not really supposed to take the red pill. You're supposed to take the blue pill.
It's the author's eye, the blue pill. It's modeled after the author's eye. You're seeing what the author knows. It's whispering through art. Kiana says a documentary. Yeah, it's going to be a documentary now, but it's whispering through art what the author knew was planned for a one.
Well, I'm going to tell you, can I tell you something about elections? I don't want to talk about politics that much, but I thought about you yesterday because a Rothschild died. And their name, their last name means the red sign. Then we got the red wave. And then we got the red blood moon. And I started thinking, you know what? They're going to give us this red wave to utilize and manipulate the Republican Party, if you want to associate. It's all corrupt, in my opinion. But for us to trust that government more, and it's going to be the most evil of it all. But I've tied it to the Matrix with the red pill.
Well, this is so wild.
Thinking.
A Rothschild dies after
Yesterday.
I can't turn this on now. I can't show you. After message after message after mailing from John Rothschild, the Rothschilds were sending me a ton of mail.
Guess how old she was when she died?
How old?
91. Now, I'm not a huge fan of gematria, but these people use these numbers, so I use it. So I type her name in to gematria, and her number is 91.
Sure.
In gematria. So it all happened in this red wave, red blood moon. Her sign means her name, Rothschild's name, means the red sign.
Mm-hmm.
All of this red stuff's coming in. I'm like, here we go. We're gonna have a flip flop, just like the Matrix. It's like,
there you go.
Take
there
the
you go.
red pill.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what's so wild is that the assassination attempt on me by Joel Silver, which we know was in Canada, coordinated with Trudeau's administration, was 2018, and they didn't get me. They went after my son. They killed my son the next week. So Sean,
and if you don't mind, I know we talked about this in part 2, and then I want to go into this scene that we just found out about the hand cutting.
Oh, absolutely.
Here in a minute.
That's a wild one.
If you don't mind, can you tell people like how this deep cabal works with like, you know, we had Ryan Carter found in the bathtub and stuff, how they try to project suicide on their victims. Can you talk about that a little bit? And
absolutely. Look what happened to me, where the sister who was bought and turned, she was one of the biggest advocates and cheering on. I got letters from her, you know, all these messages. Keep going, Tom. Never stop. I'll protect your evidence. You know, get this done. I'm on your corner. I'm your biggest fan, blah, blah, blah. And then 2016, Brian Fitzpatrick comes along, who is a congressman and lifelong FBI operative who destabilized Ukraine. And he gets her, and my mom was just telling me about how he was just getting her, and you get instant success where they introduce you to all these elite people and you're getting to be known. That's what was promised by the Rothschilds. You'll have dinner with David Rockefeller. You'll be back in the swing. You'll be all connected to all the top people. That's part of their bring you in program. See? And so what happens is she ate it up with a spoon, and her job was to destroy her brother and do a 302 and put him away. That was her job after that. So what happened is she called me on the death of my son, Sean, the very day after 2 years of absence, right? She's supposed to cut you off. Part of the playbook is cut you off, make you despair or whatever. And what does she do? She doesn't call and say, Tom, I'm so sorry about what happened to your son, and if there's anything I can do. That is not the conversation. The conversation was her calling very coldly, and I'm like, Julie, thank God you called. Sean just died. And she doesn't say, I'm sorry this happened. Now picture a family member doing this that you were really close to. She's going, Tom, you got to say that you're angry, bipolar, and suicidal. Say it back to me.
To record you on the phone.
So that she can then say, when I die by their hands, fake suicide, right? Murder, suicide. That, oh, well, my brother told me this, and I haven't it recorded where he said that he's suicidal and he was going to take his life. So what did she do when I said there's no way I would say that, right? She gets off.
Oh, she ended the conversation.
She started calling people and going, Tom's calling me all the time saying he's suicidal. She wanted the job done. She wanted to have that reward, and she's bragging at the same time that she's going to have this remodeled kitchen,
he cut out.
the most expensive range, her trips that she's going to get. And after the last 302, one of the last 302s, she was on the floor of Congress within the week by Brian Fitzpatrick holding up her picture, reading off about how wonderful she is after she failed one of the last 302s. It's incredible how they will reward you. I have a Disney contact on tape for the documentary saying, you got to understand, Tom, she gave into great rewards and great threats. No excuse. Right?
She sold her soul.
Sold her
what
soul.
All these people
Sold
do.
her soul. That's how it works. So these fake suicides are done all the time. What did they do to George Michael? Said his heart gave out. Heart gave out.
Oh,
George
Prince,
heart.
Michael Jackson, all of the Whitney Houston, all of this. What was it, 2 or like 3 months before Whitney Houston was found? She said she wanted out of it. She didn't want to be boxed in anymore.
Yes.
All this is like
Jackson. Yeah.
All of these stars, they sell their souls.
And why was George Michael killed? Because he's the witness. It was right at the time,
Prince,
2016, right at the time when Julie's bought by Fitzpatrick, the honeypot wife, Becca Northcutt, who's now Becca B. Lynn, went back to Mike Lang at Disney. And there's an email on my birthday saying, Becca, move in. My son loses his wife, mom. And so at the same time, George Michael's killed. On Christmas. Now, why? Because he's a witness to the full script being done in 93. And that was a big point of contention for them, where they're saying it wasn't done until 96 when they first had the first Matrix title show up. So they had to get rid of the key witness, George Michael, who had read the full script before he okayed the submission of the music in 1993. And we know that because it's on that submission. It says at the last page, praying for time, end title credits, music, George Michael. He had to read the full script, okay, the music.
Holy crap. I didn't
He's the witness that it was made in 1993 when the opposition was destroying all my screenplays that had 1993 on it, see? So that's why
tell people how much the Matrix is worth. How much is this?
1.7 billion now. 1.7 billion. That doesn't include
billion. This is a lot of money, everybody.
Doesn't include the gamings. Yeah. So their justification, the Cabal's justification, is that too many lives would be affected if Tom Althouse and his son, mom, got credit for his work. They say it's common knowledge it was taken. Yes, the Wachowskis didn't write it. You did. We know that. But too many lives would be shaken up. Too many families disrupted. They're all crooks. They're the ones that took it. But they're doing that Spock thing that it's, the many outweigh the few. So it's like, they're saying that no. That's what one judge had said. That, no, too many lives. We're going to leave it as it is. Too many lives. We don't want to.
Well, just tell people too, if they happen to watch this, we've talked about this in every part. Also, if they happen to look you up, because there was a lawsuit on social media or through the Google or
a total lawsuit from them. Yeah, where they had the Tony Rankin, who's classmates with Linda Burrow, lead attorney for Warner Brothers, from the University of Berkeley. Classmates.
She resigned, right?
She went to Netflix. I'm told she went to Netflix. But yeah, where they're laundering through there. But they met at Disney before anything was filed. Rankin's job was to run the statute out for 2.5 years and then blame us. He ran the statute out on the filing time. And then he had a suspended license the whole time, ineligible to practice law. That's how they do it. That's how they do it.
But was your lawyers also, though, like teaming with them, but you didn't know?
The lawyer was with them. I caught them dictating a letter to him to give to me, as if it was from him. He refused to be fired. When he was fired, he refused to be fired. Within the next half hour after he's fired, he said that he sent a message to Warner Brothers telling them to proceed to summary judgment without objection. If you don't have objection showing your evidence, you just lost. So after he's fired, within half an hour, he's thrown the case to finish his job. He had said, I just want to give them everything they want and be done with this. His job was to throw the case, and he was well rewarded afterwards. There was no case. There was no case. It has to be no tribal issue to have a summary judgment in order for and ruling in favor of the plaintiff. And there was everything from Jax the Neck to Squiddy's little girl, Scion, the underground, the red pill, blue pill, the liquid mirrors, train station, dental figures facing off, pulse wave coming out, earth turning green, pointing to the sun. It's all there, including the tech. So that's why it's fraud, and we will be back. And now their attorneys are afraid to go to federal prison. That's why the exec from Warner Brothers, after 3 decades, resigned without a successor. And my website was struck that very day to close the back door on it. They're so afraid now, and so is the CIA, for a major reveal. First the documentary, then if needed, we'll take them to court with fraud without a statute of limitations and due process finally guaranteed. They cannot stop it.
You got good attorneys and stuff this time, right?
We will have good attorneys once the documentary is done. Educate the public first, and then sift through the candidates.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and you do not use their venue. Don't do it in Hollywood.
Yeah. So now you also discovered something. I want to play the clip first before we go on. And in this clip, you're going to find Bane in here getting ready to fight or have conflict with Neo.
A painful scene which makes no sense and goes nowhere.
Yeah.
But has a very important meaning attached to the author.
So what we're going to watch here, we're going to watch the cutting of a hand. And just to prove, I want people to see this. This was in the movie, and I want you to see this clip, and then I'm going to let Tom explain it after we watch this. Here we go.
Really a low blow.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And when it does, a program can either choose to hide here or return to the source.
The machine mainframe.
Yes. Where you must go. Where the
There's
path
the
of
cut.
the one ends.
Second cut.
Second cut. All right. So what's those two? That does not make sense now. You said
No.
that doesn't make sense at all with the Matrix. I never noticed that before in the movie. That does
And what
not
does he
make
do?
sense.
He walks up in this next scene right here, in the same scene. He walks up to Neo, does nothing.
Here, I'll turn it down. Go ahead.
And hides his hand. Watch. Walks up to Neo, does nothing, and hides his hand.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Hides the knife. Hides a.
What's the point? What's the point? What? We're supposed to illustrate that he's a chicken?
I don't know what the heck that
What
means.
is going on? You notice they're
And he
improvising
walks
too.
away.
What's
Yeah.
the point of the scene? What's the point of the scene? Does it propel the story along?
But he's exited out now, so you
Just
know.
walks out. Just walks out so the next part of the scene can continue. It's terrible writing. Well, they're making it up as they go along. So why is the knife? Why is the
real
knife
quick?
cutting twice?
Why? I wanted you to say that, but I want to say Eddie's watching. He said you really have to be careful with who you trust. That's scary. So yeah, it is extremely scary. So tell us the meaning behind the cutting associated with you, Tom.
It is the most difficult thing for me. One of the most literally painful moments of my life. The woman who enabled me to write the screenplay that changed this world, the Matrix story, was Dark Cabal. And she's Senator David Boren's niece, and also related to Paul Ryan directly, like a distant cousin.
Paul Ryan, the congressman?
Paul Ryan, the one that can run for president. Yeah. So what you have
he's a snake.
I was engaged to be married to the family, to Atika.
Okay.
All right. She was my muse. She got me through when everything was pulled. When Robertson pulled everything on me, Pat Robertson, Atika saved my life. And so I did the work that everyone knows, what red pill, blue pill, all that. That's when I did it. What happened was Disney came along and Atika was approached, and they worked on her. They worked on her hard, and she finally caved in. In a moment between Atika and I, this is why they put this in here. And Atika knows it, and she would have told them. I had a paring knife, and I had been preparing food. And when she was telling me she was going to drop me, cut us off and not complete the work and just go, I did what Bane did. Same spot. There's nerve damage. Same spot, slow cut across the hand. The body needed to do something to keep focus. And so a slow cut, that's exactly where Bane does it. And I didn't my hand starts to bleed. And I was in such pain, such despair, grief. They did a good job. Keep in mind, that's when the Wachowskis were given the work in 1996, 95, 96.
They used your weakest.
They just made sure to take on that my world was crushed. You. And then they took it and showed the mock. And not only that, you see how it cuts twice slowly?
Yeah.
Because it happened again. When Atika was gone, and I heard from her personal trainer, who was part of the Cabal, Pat Kearney, still stayed her personal trainer. She had the audacity to come up to me and tell me that Atika had betrayed me further and described in detail how I got a paring knife and cut the very same spot. And then I was taken to the hospital with the deepest cut where I have nerve damage. I don't feel fingers. I don't feel this one.
Yeah.
So that putting it in twice like that, not making any sense in the movie. Maybe they thought I'd never talk about it. That I'd be too proud to? No. This is what happened. That very cut is where I had cut in despair. The second cut is exactly where it was done. And now I live my life without feeling in the one finger, but always the painful memory of the loss of the person I loved that I was engaged to, that it said she'd always be there. When they took her, they gave the work to the Wachowskis.
So they took her. So what do you mean by that? Did
she was offered the world, and she like Disney offered her positions and everything else, and she thought she'd be famous, and interviews, everything else. And Pat Robertson is petrified about her, because she was.
This is the Pat Robertson to everybody. This is 700 Club Pat Robertson.
Right. So when I lost Otika, that's when the Rockefellers pulled the deal on me. They no longer were supporting me. They were grooming both Otika and I. And that's when the Wachowskis were given the work and green-lighted to steal it. Otherwise, the Matrix would be in my name. You would have seen me with the Rockefellers, and the name still mine. They would never have given us the Wachowskis. So that's why.
The best thing for them to do is just come clean with this and settle outside of court.
They should.
But I want you to get your justification, though. You need to be justified. You need to have that truth out there on many platforms.
I want that for Aiden. I want to have the voice. They're afraid of the influence I would have. I was being groomed to be the face of Christian Coalition, run for president, just like Ryan. They were grooming me for that. And so at that time. And so they're afraid of the influence I would have. That's why they said you won the chess game. By surviving all these attempts, just think of the name credits restored, like they did Bill Fingers, the Batman family, that line.
Yeah.
I could speak and people would listen instead of going, oh, this case. Yeah. So there'd be a great influence I would have. They know that. That's why there's deals being made by Rothschilds and others right now. And the Rockefellers are making hints, and Disney, to bringing back into the fold. They're claiming that nobody in the world understands your work, Tom. Yeah, it was taken, but the world doesn't appreciate you. They'll never understand. Come back to the fold, basically. Come back to where you were groomed. And we will set you up as a script doctor where you will make a lot of money for Aiden. He'll be safe. And I'll be laundering other people's works. The answer is no. I won't do it.
Well, Tom, you are courageous, and I admire your tenacity to not give up at all. Don't ever give up. And I know you had a website, Red Pill Rising. They took that from you. Is there any way that people can contact you or find you?
Up. I think.
Did they?
I think it's ceasefalling right now. Where there's a real turmoil in the cabal where they're striking, putting up, cutting.
It's not right now. I looked it up yesterday. I looked it up yesterday. It's not up anymore.
They're keeping it down. So they're very afraid. That would be the CIA. The CIA is very, very afraid. Keep in mind, the CIA is in the original Matrix. The original work that you're going to see when we make the original film the way it is from the original screenplay that's copyrighted, right? No copyright on the Matrix, copyright on Immortals. When you see that film made, you're going to see Smith is an upper echelon CIA operative. Department head.
Makes sense.
Bringing a new world.
That's
why in the screenplay you have the One World Security Force, where the Smiths is called Central, because the Central Intelligence Agency becomes the World Central. Now they picked it up in films too. Keep in mind too that false flag in the Immortals is the burning and blowing up of a hospital outside the program. What happens in Dark Knight with Christopher Nolan? In Christopher Nolan, Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan has like the Kirk-like son with a gun to the head.
Yeah.
All that stuff. He's mocking the author. His best work comes from mocking the author. That's where his passion is. So what happens, the original author? So what he's doing is he has the big false flag, or the big thing that's the big blow up, is the hospital. Really done over because it's in the Immortals. Keep in mind, Christopher Nolan's the one that badly butchered the best scene between the daughter and Neo. The interstellar scene when she's aged and he hasn't ruined it. So you'll see how that was supposed to be done when the work is reconstituted the way it is, copyrighted, going right off the copyright. You'll see exactly how everything ties together.
One more question before we end this for tonight, because we started a little bit late.
Sure.
When do you think that this documentary will eventually come out that you're working on?
I'd love that you asked that, because the answer is, we're shooting major stuff tomorrow. That's why I took this trip. Major stuff tomorrow, really important stuff. And we're lining up with witnesses, everything. And the other side's going crazy trying to stop it. And we're saying to the public, we're not announcing when it's going to be released. And here's why. because the Cabal prides itself on knowing everything. That's what they tell their constituency.
Right.
We know everything. We know when this is going to happen. That's why the entries are in the Matrix about 9/11 and Operation Northwoods, as we know now. Huge. So with us knowing collectively and not sharing, very, very careful not to let it out of the bag. The Cabal doesn't know. And that's what you want to see the results of what that does?
Oh, it makes them go crazy. They can't stand
the
it.
exec from Warner Brothers, 3 decades there, Cabal connected with Lyndon Johnson and everything, resigns without a successor because she doesn't know. And that's when they struck my website the same day she resigned. It's driving them nuts. Watch for resignations from the CIA and probably assassinations on themselves, FBI, and also Disney very quickly. Watch for some weird stuff happening with Joel Silver and Mike Lang as they try to cover their trail. So anybody who's worked with Joel Silver or Mike Lang, be very careful. He's going to be trying to clear his trail and protect his own butt. He doesn't care about anybody else's butts that work with them. Watch your butt.
It's like leaving a narcissist and going no contact and absolutely blocking them off everything. It drives them crazy. So, well, glad you didn't tell us. maybe you can tell me and I will not tell us all eventually, or just let me know it's getting ready, or when it comes out, just say it's coming out.
Well, you see what I just said? I said I trust you. We haven't been interrupted right now, have we? So they're listening intently.
Not right now.
The opposite of the interruptions is when they listen intently because there's information they want to know. They want to know this. They're not going to interrupt our stream right now, right? They want to know what I would say, and I just said I trust you. So they know that I will tell you.
Now you're tagging me. You're tagging me. They're going to be on. They're going to be on my show.
You'll be offered emails, texts. Yeah, Saturday.
They're going to be watching. They're going to be watching every show, seeing if I'm going to mention the documentary of the true author, Tom Althouse documentary is coming out next week or something. Yeah. They're going to be watching. It's
driving them absolutely nuts that they would go and resign. Watch your trail.
Tom, I appreciate you very much. Anything else happens, you know to message me and we'll do a show on it. Even if it's not a full hour or something, we just squeeze it in. Whatever's hot on the press and something weird and mysterious happens, message me and we can do it.
I love it.
So
keep in mind too, I went with the AT&T phone that won't go on now. When I went to the airport, the GPS was saying, go forward 3 miles. Then it says, go backwards 3 miles. Then it said, go over here. They just played monkey again with it.
Oh, they just played it.
So they play games with the tech. But I'll tell you one thing. The 16 new screenplays that Disney knows we have, again, they're driving nuts because they don't know what we have. Bob Iger fired. Everything drives me crazy. So these 16 other ones are going to be so much better than Matrix. Wait till you see the layers and intensity attached and the story having connection and continuity. Wait till you see it. In the films being produced by the studio.
Well, I'll just tell you, The Matrix was my favorite, and I threw all the DVDs away that I had because of you, because I cannot support it anymore.
It is garbage the way they rendered it.
Yeah,
I can't. The images they thought were cool. I'm so sorry that happened to you. All they did was lift the images and ruin the story. They didn't care about the story. They said let the audiences figure it out for themselves. They just wanted credit for all the imagery. But you will see the way it all ties together. You'll see.
Well, we appreciate you here with the Frick Live, and we support your story and we back you, and I know you're telling the truth. So thank you so much. Thank you for everybody that's watching this evening. This will be out probably tomorrow, within 48 hours as a podcast. So please subscribe over to our Spreaker link. All the details are in the description. We'll be live here Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Sherilyn Carter. We're going to be talking Skinwalker Ranch. Totally something else different, but that's what we do at What the Frick Live. So we love you all. Thank you for the support. We'll see you Friday at 9 p.m.